when you know how to share the price properly of your online coaching program or your online service, not only do you get the client while you're on the call, while you're in the DM with them, you also don't wind up looking like a total douche. Let's talk about how to bring this to life in your online business. Hey, what's up? Jeremy here from whatupjeremy.com, back with another episode of Client by Client. Thank you so much for tuning in today. In the last episode, we talked about what is the micro of your online business. Back in episode 126, we talked about the macro, the high level. And so in yesterday's episode, we did a little revisit to that concept and got to talking about what the micro of your online business, right? What needs to happen on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis in your mind, in your heart, and in your online business in order for you to get more leads and get more clients every single week. To understand the micro is to understand how to actually operate your online business and what to install as the operating system in yourself as the online business owner. Be sure to get the entire framework by backtracking after this episode to episode 142. In today's episode, I want to share with you how to properly talk about your price so that you get more clients and so that you don't blow the sale. The first thing that you gotta get right is a little bit of mindset and also a bit of communication when it comes to how you talk about your price. You see, you do not know, nor does your prospect know, if or how you can actually help them. So if they don't know if you can actually help them and how it actually works, then if they know your price, do they really have context to why you charge what it is what you charge? And in this first point, guys, is the entire reason why so many coaches ahead of you can charge so much more. And when you realize this and you realize that gap in between and you realize that you're not talking about your price or thinking about your price in the right way and therefore not communicating about your price the right way, this is why you are not getting as many sales as those online coaches, as those online business owners. Many of you set your price and you do it from help, maybe from an online coach, or you do it because you find out what someone else's price is and you knock a little money off at the top, make it a little cheaper, a little bit more discounted. But what winds up happening is you get so proud when you finally find confidence in yourself to talk about your price. And the first thing that you want to talk about with your leads that come your way is the price. And what winds up happening is they ghost you or they say, okay, not right now. But if they only knew why you're charging what it is you're charging, they would be far more likely to even consider you, to give you the time of day to share with you why it is they should sign up with you and why they should do that right now or at least sooner than later. And this is also why many of you have been in a situation, just like I have in the beginning of my journey and sometimes nowadays, where someone doesn't sign up with you, but they gladly go and sign up with someone else who either has more authority than you or just did a better job of unpacking and sharing why it is they charge what they charge. So when someone does ask you what's the price, and they ask you before they go through a strategy session with you, and before they've been able to understand what it is that you offer and the results that you get them, and what we're going to talk about in point number 2 here in a second, they do not, and you do not know if or how you can actually help them. As a seasoned online coach, I can tell you that you can't help everyone, even though you might have the gusto and the confidence to say that. And you want to come off because you might be disguising some lack of confidence or lack of experience, so you want to come up as super confident with your prospects. But I promise you, when you calm yourself down a little bit and you give yourself the opportunity to ask the right questions and ask for permission to ask those questions from your prospects, what winds up happening is that you book more calls. And when you book more calls, you have a far more likelihood of being able to unpack your offer and share the price. Therefore, you increase your likelihood of getting the client. So what you need to understand right now from this first point is that you cannot and you should not, and I would implore you to not share the price of your program of what you want to sell your individual prospect. Let's talk about this on a prospect by prospect, client by client basis. Do not share the price with them until they are able to see the value. Therefore, do not share the price with them until you get to the end of a strategy session. There's going to be people who will say, I just needed the price, or send me a quote, or let me know the proposal. And if you're in that game, you are allowing for them to completely have the power. And it's not about letting them have the power or you having the power. When you get the conversation right, your prospect will want for you to drive, but you will give them permission to keep their hands on the steering wheel. In fact, you might say, I'm just going to chill here in the passenger seat and you're going to drive this call where it is you feel most like you want to go. And when you do this, a whole backwards dynamic with the power happens, in that you talk a little bit less than your prospects and they do more of the talking. They feel more comfortable and don't question your confidence, and they're far more likely to make it to the end and hear you out and to understand why it is you charge what you charge. Thing number one, you must first understand, and your prospect must first understand, if or how you can even help them. And if you don't go through a strategy session with them and you don't walk them through and discover what parts of your program, what parts of your coaching, what parts of your service are going to be most valuable for them, which, hint, hint, not everyone's going to take advantage or get value from every part of your coaching program or every part of your offer. So the goal of this is to ask them problems in a strategy session, in a sales call with them, AKA, and to discover what parts of the program would be most valuable and to focus in on there. Everything else becomes cream on top. Everything else becomes an added and bonus detail that you can choose to cover if you have the time, or you can allow for them to get added value from once they've signed up and once they're on the inside. Thing number one, do not talk about your price or share your price until you understand if or how you can help them. You are doing them a disservice. And if they hear your price right now, and let's say you charge $8K for a year-long coaching program, and they ask, and because you don't know where to go with it, you just tell them the price, they're going to say, okay, thanks. Even if they have the money, even if they do need the help, even if they already know from following you and hearing about experience from others, they know the price and they have some sticker shock. You didn't have a chance to talk about the payments, and even if you did, it still does not make sense for where they're at because they don't know what they're going to get value from. You have to get to the bottom of knowing if or how you can help them. And the way you position this is when anyone ever asks you about the price, bonus tip, just say, totally happy to share the price with you once we both know if or how I can even help you, and once you're able to see the value. ... Is that fair? Question mark. Save that. Second, if you want to talk about price without blowing the sale, what you must also provide is some contrast. And this sales conversation that we're having here, guys, I should be charging you for. I'll tell you that right now. What you got to also know, so that they understand what it is you charge, what you charge, you must also help them to understand the cost. And there's the price, there is the cost, and there is the value. The cost that they're going to incur is the cost of them not doing anything about this. If you help single moms lose 10 pounds or get their high school body back, you do not know, without having a little bit of an in-depth conversation with them where they feel comfortable, what it is their cost of inaction is. Maybe that cost of inaction is that they don't feel comfortable or confident getting out of the car to pick their kids up at school. And so, or their kid is having them pick them up around the corner because their kid is not too proud about it. Maybe you help single dads get their mojo back. Maybe you help 50-year-old men reinvent themselves. If you had a conversation with them, and when you have the right conversation and you help them understand why they're on the phone with you right now versus someone else, and then you get to the bottom of why they're really on that call with you, you will understand that they're not looking for a coaching program. They're not looking for an online coach. They're looking to feel better about the dating scene. They're looking to feel like their wife still looks at them like they love them. They're hoping that their kids are looking at them like the dad that they know they're capable of being. They are wanting to feel better about their feeling of losing value in the workplace and losing value in society, and a whole myriad of other things that don't sound like I'm looking for an online coach or looking for an online coaching program. Someone who just wants to know the price is not serious about help. And when you remind them or get them to feel safe and comfortable talking about the cost of not working with you, now you can juxtapose that, you can hold that up against what it is that you actually charge. And your 8K or your 18K or your 80K a year coaching program starts to sound a lot less versus what the cost is of them not doing anything. Because you start to pull these deep, sometimes subconscious and uncommunicated up to that point, painful reason why they're actually on the call with you. And for a lot of people, for the moms who want to get their high school bodies back, Yeah, they want to get their high school body back, but what you wind up finding out is they realize that their kid has them pick them up down the street because they don't want their friends to see their mom and because they don't want to get made fun of, and because they're kind of ashamed. And when you get someone to communicate something deep like that, something kind of painful and something that they may not have even communicated with anyone else or even realized themselves, the price becomes arbitrary. The price becomes a lot less important. And when you get to the end, and then you've also discovered 2 or 3 other painful reasons why they should work with you, and what the cost is of not working with you, and what will happen if they don't do anything about their problem now, which is they gain more weight, or they'll wind up at 60 or 70 for those 50-year-old men that want to reinvent themselves, and they go to bed every single night, or they die with a bunch of regrets, leaving it all on the table, knowing they were capable of more but didn't do anything about it. They're juxtaposing that up against 8K or 18K or 80K. When it comes to, like, I help people to grow their online business. For many of them, they either want to leave their day job, or they want to get rid of the fear of having to go back to the day job. They want their wife to be confident in their abilities, because while income has been coming in, it hasn't been enough for them to live at the vision that they painted for their spouse or significant other when they decided to become an online business owner. And they every single day face the pain of knowing they could do more, but not knowing what the next thing is. And so they chase a shiny object and wind up in a downward spiral of losing their confidence in themselves, of not showing up as powerfully as they could every single day, not owning or stepping into the shoes of who they know they could be. And that is extremely painful. And there's a dozen other painful things that my clients experience that I'll save the time for you today. Another one is retiring their spouse. I got into this so I can make a lot more money, and I'm barely making as much as my job, even before the taxes that I got to take out, which are way more than when I had a job. And when you hear things like that and you get to understanding, okay, you don't want more clients, you want to be able to retire your spouse. Let's talk about that for a second. You want to not lose your house. Let's talk about that for a second. You want to show your parents who have been supporting you that you're capable of so much more and that you're a person of your word. Let's talk about that for a second. It no longer becomes about that 8 or that 18 or that 80K for your coaching program. It becomes more about why they're actually there. Thing number 2, you have to understand and get to the bottom of the cost of them not doing it. And the only way that you can do that, unless you're skilled in the DM, is by hopping onto a 30 to 45-minute strategy session with them. It's inviting them onto a call. Another reason why you should not share the price of your program, because they haven't shared the cost of them not doing something with you. They may not even know the cost just yet. Lastly, thing number 3, when you postpone yourself blurting out the price, which is going to scare most people away, because they don't see the value, nor do they know where they would get the value from, nor are they conscious in that moment of the cost of not doing anything, for speaking for the 95% of the population. Actually hopping on a call with them and having this kind of a conversation that we've been talking about throughout this entire episode allows for you to uncover all of the info. You've heard the quote, never leave any stone unturned. And the fact of the matter is, when a prospect asks you about the price before you get to the end of a strategy call, at the end of a sales call with them, and you give them the price, you leave a lot of stones unturned. And when you get on a call with them and you're able to ask the right questions and create a safe space for them to actually share the answers, many of which they have not communicated even with the closest loved ones in their life, they may not have even come to face with themselves. This allows for you to uncover all of the info and uncover all of the facts. This also lets you uncover logistical things like who else is involved in this decision. It allows for you to understand how they might be paying for it. Why do you think that might be important? It helps you to understand what we talked about in point number 2, what the cost of not doing anything is. It helps you to understand what they've tried already. Worst thing that you could do is assume that your thing is the best thing, but they think they've tried what you have for them already. They may have tried a dozen other coaching programs or online courses or podcasts or YouTube videos, because all the information is already out there, my friends, to lose that 10 pounds or to get their high school body back. They might be tracking their macros and doing the steps, but are they doing it the right way? Are they doing it in the right time of the day? Are they doing it with the right mindset? Or are they not holding themselves accountable? All of these things, extremely important. You have to uncover all of the info, and you also have to not put reasons why they shouldn't buy. And when you blurt your price out and you tell them what the price is before they understand the value of your coaching program and where they're gonna get their value from and what the cost of inaction is, what winds up happening is you give them reasons not to buy. And for many of you, you say too much before you even position a sales call. And you say too much when you're on the sales call, and you wind up blowing the sale. This is about them. It's not about you. And when you get underneath your prospects and you serve them by asking the right questions, asking for permission to ask those questions, and you reflect back to them what it is that you're hearing so that you're on the same page, and you help them uncover what the cost of inaction is, and you help them uncover what the value is and what stands out most to them about your coaching program and sounds the most helpful from the outside looking in. And you allow for them to be in control by asking questions like, are you comfortable? Does everything make sense? And where should we go from here? You put them in the driver's seat of their life. And when they have that power back for that moment, which they may not have had in the last 12 months, 18 months, 36 months, they've already found their online coach. And all you have to do is walk them through the next steps, get their payment information while they're on the call with you, and not blow the sale. In the next episode of Client by Client, I'm going to make the case for you to have a singular focused target market. Be sure to come back to the next episode to get the full framework. Whenever you are ready, here are a couple ways I can help you grow your online business. First, download your free copy of GetBookedCRM. Coaches, are you still managing your leads and pipeline from Instagram DM, Facebook Messenger, and your email inbox where you're losing leads in the cracks and leaving a lot of money and clients on the table every single week and month? That's why I created GetBookedCRM. What started out as a free and simple way for me to manage my leads and pipeline and turn prospects into clients has quickly become a favorite tool of my private students and many members in the Leverage Coach community. Get leads and turn them into clients in half the time. For your free copy now, just find me on Instagram and message me the letters CRM. Second, join my free group for online coaches. I've got coaches from all over the world, all implementing my strategies and frameworks for starting and growing an online business and getting clients consistently. Get your free invite and join us in the Leverage Coach community now by finding me on Instagram at WhatUpJeremy and sending me the word group. Lastly, become my next success story. I'm getting a couple coaches together this month to implement my methods and frameworks for injecting a minimum of $15K worth of new clients or doubling your existing client roster base over the next 30, 60, 90 days. But working with the right people is super important to me. So only respond to this if you are a relationship-focused coach or business owner who always puts the person ahead of the money. You've been coaching or running your online business for at least 6 months to a year. You would like to get 3 to 5 clients organically from social media every month without wasting money and time on paid ads. You have at least 300 friends on a social platform, email list, or Facebook group. You are willing to take bold action because you know that your success depends upon it. And last but most importantly, you can keep a secret. If that's you, I want you to grab your phone right now, give that Instagram app a tap, do a little search and find me at WhatUpJeremy, binge on some content, and give me a follow while you're there. And when you're ready, I want for you to message me the words case study. When you do that, I'll ask you a couple questions about your online business and about your vision for the next 12 months. And then I'll share with you what we have coming up this month in the Get Clients program, how we're already helping students and other coaches to implement my frameworks for getting clients consistently. And then we'll identify what part of the program will likely make the biggest impact on your business as soon as that we know what to expect. For all the details now, just find me over on Instagram at WhatUpJeremy and send me the words case study. That's it for this episode of Client by Client. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you in the next one. Cheers.